Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Chef Rob Goodhue here of Hunter's Run. We are nice and warm inside. We're surviving the polar vortex. It's a balmy 60 degrees here in South Florida. I've got my little long underwear on. But that's not why I wanted to talk to you. I want to talk to you today about something near and dear to my heart, which is the pathway to becoming a chef. And sometimes I'm asked quite often, how long will it take to become a chef? And really, it depends on the cook, and it depends on how driven they are, maybe how talented they are, but how steady they are with the process of learning. When you are in your 20s, you must be obsessed with cooking. You must be obsessed with learning all the techniques and reading. A lot of cooks nowadays, they're not really reading cookbooks or getting involved in the idea of these recipe concepts or these menu concepts. And if all you do is rely on the restaurant that you're working in, what'll happen is you'll only see a certain set of techniques and flavors, because maybe the restaurant doesn't rotate that menu very often, so you'll be very limited in your exposure. And you really need those years, because that's when you learn the most about cooking. And I think a little mistake that culinary schools make is they focus on everything about being a chef too early on, when cooking has to be paramount. Okay, when you throw concepts like food costing and labor budgeting at culinary school students, they're just not ready, and very rarely will the theories that you're taught in culinary school translate early on into the business. You need 10 years of learning to cook. You need 10 years, and I mean you need 10 years of bearing down, reading cookbooks, cooking at home, cooking for friends, doing little tastings with friends on the weekends. Like, you have to explore the cuisine, because at a certain point, what's going to happen is you are going to get that tap on the shoulder to become a sous chef. And although your cooking won't be done, now your technique better be very good, and you need to be efficient, okay? Because time is of the essence, and every day you are going to be challenged to get the job done. So if you don't have that instinct for cooking and feel it in your bones, let alone many different recipes and many different techniques, you're not going to be able to write menus as you get further down the line. And so you really need 10 years of being behind the stoves, and you need to work at, you should work at several different places. Like, if you're on a station for more than a year, yeah, you can learn more, but you are stuck in that chef's one way of cooking, possibly. So you need to get exposure. You need to move on to different stations. You need to see different cuisines. So I would say about 10 years as a cook, and then when you get into the sous chef area, now it's time. You're going to start getting more exposed to food costing, labor, payroll, scheduling, and but you also might still be cooking a lot. But now it's not as much of a learning experience with cooking. It's now you've got to hone in on what you've already spent the past 10 years learning to do it as a line cook. This is it's very important that you get that foundation, that strong foundation with your skills. And I think a lot of cooks just aren't ready to do it for that long. They maybe in culinary school they think that they're going to be a chef in a couple years, but that's just not the case, because you need a very strong foundation to keep growing. And you never stop learning, but those early years are very important, because when you get into your 30s, you might be looking at trying to have a family, and now your learning process for the actual cooking, you have other priorities, and it becomes harder to absorb new ideas at that point because you just have a little too much going on in your life. And then when you're in your 40s, like me, your gray matter is no, just joking. I like to learn every day, so I try to. But I have noticed that when I was in my 20s, it was when I was a sponge for cooking techniques and ideas. So, if you're willing to put that road, put the work in, and if you really think about it, anything you do that's worth doing is going to take a minimum of 10 years, to become good enough at it so that you can eventually make money and make good money. But, as a line cook, you're not gonna make, you have to put in that time in to learn those techniques, and you're not gonna make a lot of money, but you're investing in your future. And let me tell you, I've had to write so many menus that, especially in country clubs, because country clubs they require so many more menus than restaurants, because the members don't leave the club, so they see the same things and they get bored very quickly. So we have to constantly stimulate the membership. So now, even though I was classically French trained, I have to do Italian cuisine, I have to do Asian cuisine, I have to do Mexican. I mean, you name it. You have to be well-rounded enough to do it. And if I didn't have those early cooking experiences to pull from, I would be really stuck when it came to that much menu writing. So, that's my 2 cents about how long it takes to learn how to cook. That's only one aspect of being a chef, So maybe later I'll kind of go into the other stages of being a chef and what to expect, because I want to see you be successful, and I want you to have reasonable expectations for your career path. Thank you.